Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader, and before we get started, we'll need to review our obligatory risk disclosure, so we'll go ahead and do that. So again, just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published by the Market Trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any future security, company, or fund. Use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, and contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. We understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk and is not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital, money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle, should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or Forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so now that we gotten through the risk disclosure, good morning, Faye. Good morning, good morning, Marie. Good morning, Dirk. Good morning, Aslan. Let's go ahead and take a look at the news. Okay, we'll take a peek news and see what kind of news do we have in store today. Okay, this is like post FOMC today, so we still have some earnings on the docket here today. So MasterCard, we have Amazon, Apple reporting their earnings today. Okay, and APEC Summit. Okay, also. So relatively, in comparison to what we had yesterday, relatively light in the way of news. Again, tomorrow being another big day in news, of course, PCE, consumer spending, personal income, Chicago PMI. These are all kinds of things that the market has the potential of reacting to. Okay, but that's tomorrow. Okay, so today, relatively light, I would say, in the way of news. We always need to be on the guard, though, for any sort of unanticipated news event that could move the markets here. All right, so we'll go ahead and turn our attention over to the trading platform, and we'll go ahead and see if we can gather some context here and understand kind of the market here a little bit. Okay, so we'll go ahead and launch our charting platform here in a bit. Let's see if we can get that up and running here. So give me a moment. Bear with me here, guys. I'm trying to get my charting platform to come up. Close here. Oh, gee. Here. Sorry, guys. Apologies. Just having some trouble here. Trying to get my platform to come up. Morning, Alejandro. Morning, Dave S. Oh. Hmm. Apologize, guys. I'm just trying to get my platform to come up here, and can't seem to launch my start menu at the moment. So becoming a little bit difficult to trying to. Yeah. Yeah, just unfortunate. It's the menu. The menu does not come up at the moment, and I'm trying to kind of get to it in the back door kind of way here, and it's not being. All right, let's try one other way to do this. See if I can launch it via browser. Okay, let's see. Shoot, I think I might have to actually do that. One second, guys. I'm logging in a different way. Actually, going to probably bring up an alternate platform here. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're going to go old school today, guys. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. So we're going to use an alternate platform here. Okay. So here we are. Sorry for the delay. Okay. So we're going to go old school. Okay. We're going to see if we can. All right. Here we are. Hopefully, you guys can see my platform. Top Step X. Okay. Is our alternative today. Here we are. Okay. Awesome. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the daily chart and start our review. Okay, here we go. We're going to go ahead and open up the daily here and kind of take a look and see what the market is providing us. So you can see here, just going to remove some of our drawings here. Okay. So looking at the chart here, you can see that the market has been in somewhat of a bearish structure here of late. Okay, market is developing a little bit of a bullish, I guess, response to maybe some of the selling that we experienced in yesterday's session. Okay, but we are still very much in some bearish structure now. As we look to the right, you can see that we are in some sort of balance range from yesterday. So again, maybe a little bit more balanced kind of price action currently than maybe we've experienced of late. So on the daily chart, I would say very much looking a bit on the bearish side. Okay, today. And let's go ahead and now and move down to the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart. Again, you can see that we're making lower lows and lower highs in this market, right? Kind of staircasing our way lower. Okay, so you got lower highs, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Okay, we're kind of staircasing our way lower. Now, what I am seeing a little bit, and I don't know if this is going to hold, but I do see that there's a little bit of a demand zone down here at 39.78. Okay. The question now is this going to hold, right? Is the market going to be able to hold this level? Because I do see that maybe we are developing a little bit of a consolidation pattern here on the 4-hour. We'll take a closer look at that here in the on the 30-minute. But you can see that, if we just look at this here, right, you will see that we are developing a little bit of a consolidation pattern, right, of late. Okay. So the question now becomes, is this just the consolidation pattern for a continuation move to the downside? Okay. We have this demand zone above. We have maybe I can draw an equal supply zone above. Okay. Right above here, right? Right. So that's kind of what I'm seeing and what I'm noticing here at the moment. Okay. We're just going to go ahead and color this in red. All right. Now, so it does appear that maybe we are ranging of late. Okay. So let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. We'll do our fixed range volume profile. We'll remove some of these drawings here and get a sense of what the market is providing. Okay. So you can see, excuse me. You can see that the price is above our VWAP. I'm going to go ahead and open up a fixed range volume profile here and see what yesterday's session offered us. Okay, so today is, let's see, the 29th here. So we'll start off here. All right, and then drag that across. So, and then I'm going to go ahead and extend these lines here. Okay, so this is my value area low line. Okay, and this is my value area high line. Okay, so you can see that we're still very much in some bearish structure here. You can see that price did make an attempt to come back into value, but was rejected. Okay. So now the question becomes: Are we going to be able to close, or close below our VWAP for maybe an extension or maybe a revisit of the lows? Right now we crossed below the value area low, and our attempts to get back above it have been met with some more selling. So again, kind of looking a bit on the bearish side here. Okay, and now I'm just going to kind of since I don't have the initial balance indicator here, we'll take a quick look here at the Asia session to see high and low, kind of what we got here. So looks like Asia. Okay, looks like just kind of eyeballing this. So Asia looks like was so this is, I'm going to draw this in yellow. Okay, so this is the low of Asia on the first hour. This is the high. Okay, so looks like Asia extended to the upside in gold. Okay, we extended here to the upside. You can see that, right? This is the initial balance range for Asia. We extended that up to the upside. So there was a fair number of bulls in the market. Then London started here. Let's go ahead into London here, right about here. Let's see, that's about this candle here. That's London. Okay, bring this up. London. Okay, so London extended to the upside, got to pretty close the point of control of this area here, and again sold off. So right now, I would say market, I think, does remain in some sort of bearish structure as we head into the New York session. We are just in the beginnings of the initial balance range for Asia. Okay, not Asia, sorry, US here. Okay, this is 6 o'clock here. Okay, this is the low end of the range. This is the high end of the range, somewhere in that range here. Okay, this candle right here. Okay, so that's the initial balance range. Hopefully you guys can see that. Maybe make this a little bit darker so it's a little bit more visible, or a little wider here. Okay, so there's our initial balance range that we're working with right now. Okay, so that's kind of the range that we're working with. I think relatively normal range, but the range is still has not completed. Okay, so right now I would say that headed into the session, I would say that we remain a little bit on the bearish side. I think certainly it appears that maybe the market could revisit the lows of the session here down around what was that 39.26, 39.30. Okay, somewhere in that range. Value area low from yesterday looks like about 39.86.3, somewhere in that range. Might be a little bit higher. Okay, depending on how I interpret this, probably 39.88, Alejandro, somewhere in that range. Okay, so the market, price is below value from yesterday, indicating that there's a fair amount of interest to the downside. So again, headed into the session, looks like we could be in some sort of range to bearish headed into the session here. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing in the gold market. So we'll go ahead now and move into the crude oil. Okay, so we'll start with the daily, just like we normally would here. Again, looks like crude oil is taking another move to the downside. Has been kind of bearish for some time. Okay, so let's take a look at the daily, see what kind of candle is developing there. Well, there's our bearish candle. Look how price reacted away from our point of control, from our visible range volume profile we have here on the right hand side. Okay, so you can see that we are developing yet another bearish candle on the daily in an otherwise market that has been bearish. Okay, so so we continue to have some kind of bearish price action in the crude oil market. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour. Okay, 4-hour, I'm kind of taking a peek here at the ADX indicator. So our negative DI still is above our positive. Our general momentum here is not necessarily where I would necessarily expect to see, given the move that we are seeing. Okay, but nonetheless, we do appear to be in some sort of bearish market, right? So we got to point of control here on the right, and since then we've kind of extended to the downside and now beginning to staircase to the downside. There's quite a bit of room. I would say quite a bit of room in this market to head lower, right? This market could easily, well, we have a level here that it's at 59.71. The next logical level would be around 58, okay? 58, and then we can get as low as 56.40, okay? So still, I would say quite a bit of bearish structure that we are developing in the crude oil at the moment, okay? Now, obviously, we realize that we are still inside this swing here, so this could be a little bit of a repair day, but it'll be interesting to see if we continue, all right, creating these lower lows and lower highs. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart and see what we can kind of glean from that. I'm going to go ahead and expand this so you can see that we're at a level now that where we found some buyers. Okay, so we've kind of come into a level. Price is below our VWAP. I'm going to see if I can add an EMA here, exponential moving average. Hopefully, I think it should be here. Exponential, there it is. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and open that and make that in a sort of a gold color here. All right. So there we are. Okay. There's our exponential moving average. So similar to what we were saying in gold, looks like market is a bit on the bearish side, or at least in the bearish swing of a range, right? So we were talking earlier about 61 being important and 60. Well, now we're challenging 60 right now, right? We're at 59.78. So, so it'll be interesting to see if price does indeed hold at this level and reverse, or whether we get a break and close below this level, a retest below it, and for maybe a continuation move here to the downside. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile and compare price, where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. And so we'll do this over here to the close, somewhere in that range. It's kind of hard to see. See what that, make sure I got that right. Right there. Okay. All right. So I don't know if there's a way in Top Step X to actually extend these lines. Volume, left placement, value doesn't look like it. Okay. All right. So let's just manually extend these lines here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and extend that line. That's the value area low line, and then the value area high line. Okay. So you can see that price is below value from yesterday. We got a nice little pullback up to the value area low from yesterday, and price has continued to extend lower. Okay, so it appears that there's still a fair amount of interest in this market to the downside. Okay, we're gonna take a look here, take a peek here at the initial balance range for Asia, but I suspect I know the answer to this question here. So we'll maybe look at Asia here. So this is 29th over here, somewhere in this area right here. Okay, for this candle, we got this high. That was the high. And just below, 1, 2, was this here, 7, right there. Okay, so that was our initial balance range for Asia. Okay, so indicating that there's still a fair amount of interest in this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move this to the current initial balance range that's developing, okay, in this market. Okay, and that's also to the downside. So I would say that, again, market structure continues to be lower. All right, so we're still in bearish structure. We're at a level where we could see, again, some sort of reversal in price, but I'm not going to be the first one necessarily. I need to see maybe, a 15-minute, bullish candle here, because we've received some bullish candles here in the past, right? Only to be met with some more selling. Okay. So right now we're at a level where we could see a reversal, but we are in bearish structure. So headed into the market, I would say that my view remains bearish in the crude oil. I'm going to see if I can actually get an extension of this initial balance range right below, and then maybe use that level for an extension we have to be, I guess, somewhat guarded, okay, since we are a little bit extended to the downside, and we are at a level where we could potentially reverse of a failed, maybe a potential failed auction to the downside and a reversal back to VWAP. Okay, so we have to be a little guarded on that because we are quite extended here to the downside. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and begin to make our move over to the Nasdaq. But before we do, I'm going to again kind of wear my marketing hat here and encourage folks. I see we have a fair number of people in the room, and again, it's time to pay. It's time to pay tax. So I need your likes, I need your subscribes, I need your comments, I need you to smash the notification bell. I need some indication that you indicating to me and the world that this analysis is supporting your ability to navigate the market. So it looks like I got at least one little thumbs up after that. So we'll go ahead and move on to the Nasdaq. All right, so Nasdaq here. All right, so we got a couple new. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at the daily chart, see what the daily chart has to say here. So it looks like we got some sort of adverse price action here, got some sort of reaction. We were kind of neutral yesterday as a result of the news, right? We got wicks on both ends. So now we are seeing some sort of rejection to higher prices developing at the moment. We are a bit extended away from the 9 EMA, but we still remain in some sort of bullish structure here in this market. Okay, so the question now becomes, what can we expect headed into the New York session? Well, again, would not be a surprise to me if we came back and maybe touched this 9 EMA around 25,778. That's a bit that to the lower, right, before we continue up to the upside. Okay, we'll have to see. We won't know exactly what kind of day we end up getting, but the fact that we're getting some sort of rejection candle at the moment may be an indication that we may be in for maybe a little bit of a pullback into this market. Okay, so let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Let's see what the 4-hour chart has to say. Okay, so we have some candles here that are developing a bit ominously here. Okay, that kind of is indicating to us that maybe there is some further downside in this market. All right, I'm going to go ahead and maybe provide a line here to indicate maybe an area where I could find some support. I'm going to go ahead and mark that area in green. All right, so this area where I see a little bit of consolidation and price leaving appears to be an area right around the 26,000 level. Okay, this 26,000 level does appear to be an area where we could find some support in this market. We're seeing that our positive DI is kind of falling. We see that the negative DI is starting to pick up some momentum here. And that's kind of what we're seeing in the way of price. There's a little bit of momentum kind of being rising as price is beginning to retrace here a bit. Okay, so let's take a look here at the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart, again, you can see that we're maybe in the beginning stages of maybe some bearish structure here. Okay, so we had price, give us a nice, strong bearish engulfing. Wiped out a lot of hopeful buyers with this candle here, right? So nice, strong bearish candle to the downside. We buyers tried to bring the market back higher, failed. Okay, so far, right? And we took another leg here to the downside. Okay, so market still appears to be, or maybe in the beginning stages of some bearish structure here, right? Up until this point here, I would say that the market was still very, quite strong here. Okay, but coming into, I guess, maybe Asia. Okay, coming into Asia, looks like we got a little bit of some selling coming in Asia. As we approach London, London also appears to be on the side of the bears. Okay, to the downside. All right, so headed into the market. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see, how we react when we approach, and hopefully maybe at some point during the session we do approach either the 9 EMA or the VWAP. Okay, because that could be a logical location for price to continue to the downside. Okay, that would be kind of a logical location. If I'm going to sell this market, then I need to sell the market at some level of strength. Okay, And this level of strength that I'm referring to right now would be if we do rally back to the 9 EMA or rally back to the VWAP, that would be a logical location where maybe sellers could potentially step in. Okay, so a level that I'm going to be watching here, this is kind of lazy lion level, is this 26,200 level. Okay, 26,200 level. Again, what was supportive could be resistant, right? So if we rally, if I can get my, right, if we rally back to this level here, the expectation is that the sellers that drove price through this level will step back into this market. Okay, so we're seeing that the negative DI is above, right? Positive DI, indicating that there's a fair amount of momentum to the downside. We are seeing that our ADX indicator is rising. Okay, so indicating that there's a fair amount of strength in this current move to the downside. And you see that the positive DI is not showing a whole lot of strength, actually pointing lower. Okay, so headed into the session. Okay. Oh, thank you, Dave S. Appreciate you. Maybe I can make some modifications here to my computer to actually improve here the experience. So in any case, so guys, headed into the session, it does appear that we are maybe in some sort of bearish structure. Looks like both the London, okay, looks like Asia, looks like might have been initially up and then failed, and then London came in and also looks like has also kind of sold off here into pre-market. Okay, so it'll again, guys. If I'm bearish on this market, if I'm bearish on the market, thank you so much, Dave S. If I'm bearish on the market, then I'm gonna be holding out for this 26,200 level and see if I can find an opportunity that would maybe allow me to participate in the move lower. Okay. If I'm bullish on this market, I personally probably would want to wait and hold out for 26,000. Okay. And see how we react off of 26,000 rather than try to maybe participate in this and then have to take this whole area as risk, right? 100 points as risk is probably a little bit much, right? So I would say that holding out for 26,000, maybe look for a bounce. That would be the area. And if I'm bearish, then 26,200 is kind of the lazy line level that I'm going to be looking at. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the ES here, guys. Looking at the ES. We're going to go ahead and start with the daily, see if it is also telling us the same kind of thing. Yeah. So again, we're seeing a fair amount of rejection candles appear at the highs, right? Similar to what we were seeing in the NASDAQ. We are a little bit extended. We had created a gap. So it feels like that the market wants to fill this gap before it makes any sort of additional move in any direction here. Okay. So daily is indicating while we are still somewhat in some bullish structure. Yeah. Yes. Patience is a noble virtue of the lazy lion, right? So while we are still in somewhat, bullish structure here, we're starting to see some signs that maybe the market is not really interested in entertaining anything higher. Okay. And that the market maybe is looking to fill this gap that was created leading up to the FOMC. So this, area here around 6850 would again be another lazy lion location where we could potentially look to for the market to head higher, right? So that would be, again, on the daily side, that would be kind of a level that I would be looking for. Looking at the 4-hour chart, let's move on to the 4-hour chart, kind of zoom in on these candles, okay? And again, similar to what we were seeing in the NASDAQ, we are starting to see maybe that we are developing some structure here to the downside. Again, it does seem like the market is intent on at least revisiting this area, okay? And filling this gap that was created, again, leading up to the FOMC minutes. We are seeing that the current momentum is a little bit waning. We see that the DI is indeed gaining a little bit of strength here to the upside. We see that a positive DI is losing a little bit of momentum, and that's kind of what we're seeing in the way of price, okay? Picking up some momentum here to the downside. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart, looking at the 30-minute chart, Again, similar to the NASDAQ, we are, looks like, creating some structure. Yeah, it might be a little bit, might be, but a very similar structure here, right? Very similar structure, right? So you can see we got a pretty strong move to the downside, right? As we tail end of Asia, maybe the beginning stages pre-market for London. Then we moved into some sort of consolidation range, found that there was more aggressive selling, and sellers stepped in again here, okay, in pre-market. All right. Nobody wanted to maybe close their day on the bullish side. Okay. And so here we are, right? 68.91 is a logical level where we could see maybe some potential of buyer. I'm kind of looking here at the left-hand side. What would be some other logical levels for price? I'm seeing maybe 68.60, 68.70 might be another logical area. But I'm feeling like right now that the market is intent on refilling this gap that was created prior to the market here. Okay, so I would say that the more logical level for me to look for maybe a reversal in price would be the 68.40 level. 68.40 seems to be much far more logical for me to see price reverse, and that's still a ways away down. So again, headed into the session, I would say that we need to kind of continue to look on the side of the bears in this market. Okay. I'm going to be, again, looking to sell potential strength. An area of strength here maybe would be the 6,900 level. Okay. 6,900 is a logical psychological level that could offer us maybe a continuation move to the downside. So 6,900 is kind of my ceiling on the highs, looking maybe for a reversal in price, maybe as high as 6,915. That would take us back up to VWAP. And that could be an area where we see an extension or continuation move to the downside. And then if I'm a bull, well, like I said, I'm feeling like it's going to come back to this area down here at 68.40 before we make any sort of effort here to reverse back to the upside. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Dow here and see what the Dow has to say. And looking at the daily, I would say that Dow is even looking even weaker, okay, than either the ES and the NASDAQ. Okay, so we closed the day with a kind of a reverse hammer kind of candle. We have a developing candle currently, also looking a bit on the bearish side. We have this gap that needs to be filled, and I think the market is looking to fill that gap before it makes any sort of attempt here higher. So I'm looking at this on a daily side. Looks like this 47,400 level. Okay, looks like a reasonable area for the market to head back to, and it has a little bit of a confluence here with a 9 EMA, right? So we have the confluence of the gap as well as the 9 EMA to offer us another lazy lion location, okay, for a reversal in price or continuation of price to potentially to the upside. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. And look at the 4-hour chart again. You can see that price has managed to get below our 9 EMA, below our VWAP. Again, looking to kind of, it looks like it wants to fill this gap that was left prior to the FOMC. Okay, so that's, I think the market is I would say it's kind of a visual target, right? We have this gap that has not been filled, and when we have visual targets, market tends to fill them. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart again, we're seeing some structure, and I would say that maybe the structure is even more bearish than what we were seeing in either the ES or the NASDAQ. We are kind of staircasing here to the downside, kind of eyeballing kind of what the Asia session did here with this market here. And this is the start of Asia. Okay, so it looks like the start of Asia, we initially headed higher, and then we failed to continue higher. And then we've been down ever since. Okay, so again, heading into this session, I'm going to go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile. I don't know if I actually did that for the other sessions, but we're going to go ahead and do that now for the Dow here. Okay, we're going to start this here and then close it right about there. Okay, so you can see this right where we have the point of control. Okay, right where we have the point of control in the visible range. That's our right, yeah, right where we have the visible, that we have that's the location of our VWAP, not VWAP, value area low. Okay, so that would be, again, if we do manage to get above VWAP and above our 9 EMA, that is also another logical location, 47,826, 47,825, somewhere in that range. That would also offer us another logical location. If we are more looking on the bearish variety, that would be another location. So we have about three different, a couple of different areas here to look bearish. If I'm bullish on this market, I would probably look at the gap down below here at, say, 47,500. Okay. If I'm bullish, I'm going to go ahead and maybe draw that level in. 47,500 is probably the earliest that I would look for in the way of a bullish move. Okay. Or a reversal area, right down at this level. That could maybe offer us maybe a move back to the upside. Okay. So we have our levels, right? We have our ceiling up above. Okay. That could offer us location, maybe where we could participate here to the downside. We have our levels here below us, that maybe where we might see a reversal in price. But nonetheless, the YM, as well as the other equity markets, does seem to be in the beginnings of some sort of bearish structure today. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and I don't know. Do we want to take a peek at silver, or do we want to summarize? What do you think, Michael? Do you want to take a peek at silver since you came in late? Should I reward you? Is it you want to take a peek at silver, or do you want to summarize? Let's take a peek at silver. All right, so take a look at silver. All right, so silver looks like is maybe caught a little bit of a bid. Okay, in this market, they're going to take a look. Okay, let's take a peek at silver here. Okay, let's look at the daily. Looks like the silver might be in the beginnings of maybe it's caught a bid of some sort, right? So the market looks like it's developing a little bit of, I don't know, what kind of pattern does this look like to you guys? What kind of pattern does this look like? Is this some sort of topping pattern, or is it just my imagination? Does this not look like some sort of head and shoulder pattern? This is the head, this is the left shoulder, this is the right shoulder. Yes, head and shoulder. So and then the point of control line is kind of the neckline, right? Right. So I don't know. Does this mean that the market is looking to head lower? Okay. This is our neckline right here, right? Is this an indication that we could see maybe a continuation move here to the downside, or could this be a failed? Could end up being a failed kind of head and shoulder pattern, and we end up going higher. I've had mixed results with head and shoulder patterns, but certainly there's appear to be some sort of okay. Yeah. So in any case, I'm seeing that there's some sort of head and shoulder pattern. This is a little bit of a topping pattern. Okay. This is a little bit of a topping pattern. All right. So and if we measure, right, the width of, or the height of the head down to the neckline, well, this is the kind of move that we could expect to see. Right? This is the kind of move that we could expect to see, and that would take us logically back to an area of some support. So something to keep in mind here on the daily, is something to watch for. Looking at the 4-hour, okay, looking at the 4-hour, again, you can see with more candles the same kind of pattern here. Okay, so again, kind of an extended right shoulder. I don't know, maybe we are developing a little bit of structure here of late to the bullish side. Okay. But we need to figure out a way to navigate above 49, okay, in order to continue this bullish move. If we can't get above 49, then I would say that we follow the pattern of this line here to the downside. Okay, right now of late we are seeing a little bit of some sort of bullish kind of price action. We are seeing our negative DI lose a little bit of momentum. We're seeing our positive DI kind of picking up a little bit of momentum here to the upside. But we are of late still inside some bearish structure here. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's take a look here at the 30-minute chart here, and see what the 30-minute chart has to say here. First thing I'm going to take a look at in this market is to see where price is in relation. Okay, we're going to see where price is in relation to yesterday's market here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and locate the start of the session here, right about there. Drag that across to the close, right about there. Okay, so we are inside. Okay, looks like we are inside the range. All right, so difficult to say exactly what kind of market we're dealing with at the moment. If I can get my mouse back. All right, here it is. Okay. All right. So we are inside the value area of yesterday's price, right? So, right. So here's our value range, right? Value area high, value area low. Okay. So we managed to come into the range. Price pulled back to value area low from yesterday, found some buyers. Now the question is this a let's see, channel break? Let's see if I can find my channel tool here. Parallel lines here. I think they have that tool somewhere. No. Interesting. No parallel lines in the Top Step X platform. Okay, well, we'll just make do with just the general. Let's see, maybe up here, maybe. Oh, there it is. I was going to say, how can they not have my channels? All right, so here we are, right? So I drew my channel, price closed above it, right? But I do see that there's still maybe a little bit of kind of selling pressure. So it'll be interesting to see how price reacts off the channel that I drew here, whether it holds and offer us maybe a location for the market to rally, right? Right now we are inside the value range, so we could be in for some sort of balanced kind of price action consolidation here. But I do see that there's certainly the possibility that we could reach value area high before we make any sort of decision otherwise, right? So we have some price action here to the left, right, that caused the market to go sell off. Now we seem to be in some sort of swing here to the upside. The question is, can we get above 48,355? Okay, so right now it feels like we're in range, right? So I'm going to be waiting for these edges of ranges, maybe value area high, maybe the initial balance range that's been established here. Looks like we have established the initial balance range already. Okay, so we are at the end of the initial balance period. So this being the lower end of the range, looks like we are getting a little bit of reaction here. So lower end of the range here, top end of the range on this candle here. Okay, so this is the top end. So there's our initial balance range for the session. So the question now becomes, we need to see if we can wait. We got a nice strong 30-minute candle here to the upside. So it looks like we have picked up some momentum that could lead us up higher here. Okay. All right. So again, for silver, I would say maybe neutral to bullish. Okay. If I'm going to entertain any sort of bullish trade in silver, I want to see price get above this initial balance high and hold, and then maybe that could take us back to the highs of the day, and we'll go from there. Okay. So that's, I think, pretty much what I have for you guys. We are a little bit past time. Yeah, GC is also popping up, so that could spell some indication that silver could follow as well. I do see that there might be some areas of resistance here to the left-hand side. So again, need to be careful with the 48,000, or not 48,000, 48,355 could be somewhat resistant. But for me, I'm gonna wait for this initial balance range or price to leave that range, hold, and then maybe look for an opportunity for a pullback for an opportunity higher. Okay, and that would take us maybe back to the lower end of that neckline that we drew on the daily for that head and shoulder pattern that we saw on the daily, right? So up here around the 48,700 level, somewhere in that range. Okay, so in any case, guys, we had a little bonus instrument today. in the spirit of supporting Michael here. Okay. So we'll go ahead and close the session off as we close all sessions. Apologize for the technical issues that I had with launching my platform here this morning. We had to kind of go a little bit old school, right, with some of the indicators that I'd use. Hopefully, managed to get the analysis that we needed to and support us in preparation for the markets here. All right, so we'll go ahead and close the session off. As we close most sessions, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent trading day, guys, and we'll talk again in the channel. All right, have an excellent trading day. We'll talk again tomorrow.